Hey Scotty, I think we finally have some time to unbox the Lost Caverns of Ixalan stuff. Are you with me? Alright, cool. Let's get to it. Hello everyone and welcome to another one of our Lazy Swim deck reviews, the series where Scotty and I take the time to go through the Precon decks, read out the cards inside, give you an idea of how strong they are and if they synergize with a given commander, the cuts of the deck and how good the product is straight out of the box. At the end, we score each deck inside of an expansion against each other out of 10, so grab your favorite drink, sit down, lay back and relax as we dive into this review. And today we're bringing to you the last of the commander decks for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, Ahoy Mateys, the pirate deck. So I know Scotty and I were a little bit behind on these decks, as we've said with every other video. Unfortunately, we've been in the works. Well, not unfortunately, we're very happy. We've been in the works with something really, really big. And so now we're just playing a little bit of catch up to be said. Okay, thank you very much, Scotty, for that. And yeah, this has been so far the greatest expansion for Commander Precon decks of all 2023. Yes, you heard it here. You can quote me about it. I don't care. The Precon decks in this expansion are much, much better. Overall, fun-wise, and the way that they've been created, they're so much better out of the box than any of the other ones that have been created so far for this year. We scored the other ones, they're all 7.5 out of 10, and I'm hoping that this one is at least that, because it would be a little bit of a disappointment if there was only one that was like that. But without further ado, let's have a look at what Ahoy Mateys brings in. It's a Grixis deck. It has a collector booster sample with 2 extra cards. It is a 100 card deck with 10 new cards, a deck box, 10 double-sided token cards, a full edge display commander, a life wheel, a strategy insert, and a reference card. And as usual, this is made in Belgium. So without further ado, let's rip into here. Lost sailors aren't failures. Yep, I guess. Okay, so as usual, this is the contents of the deck as proper and as follows. You will find in here the sample booster of the collector box, the deck case proper with the life wheel, and as usual, the deck case will not hold any of the sleeved cards, just the non-sleeved deck. As a container, I actually use them for keeping store of the many decks that we've reviewed, and as you can see, I'm struggling to make this one happen. Anyway, that's that. And then you get the collector booster sample, which we'll get to in just a second. And in here, you get a couple of, persist tokens. That's nice. So maybe it'll have a lot of persist in this one. And the cutout cardboard tokens, I mean. You get the little strategy insert that I always like, and the deck with the tokens proper. So let's have a look first at the strategy insert. This is always a little bit of fluff about the deck, about the commander and how it plays and what it plays like, so you can pause whenever you want. This is Admiral Brass Unsinkable, the commander of this wonderful deck. And then on the side, you see a little bit about the Ahoy Mateys deck and also of the commander rules. So if you want to pause, please feel free. Anyway, let's dive into the commander sample, the collector booster pack sample. So we'll see here what 2 cards you get. The first one is either a rare or a mythic. The second one is an uncommon, and they're all with the special border of this set. So of course you also get a token card that's useless. So first off, we get Bloodletter of Akazots. So we've not seen this version of it. This is all the old tech borderless version, as they call it. So this is the vampire demon that we saw before, and it's really cool with this illustration. I love this illustration. And then next we have Bartolome del Presidio in the foil version. Anyway, next up, let's have a look at the deck proper. As usual, first, double tap if we find it. I found it, I think. I don't want to scratch. I don't have any nails, so that's usually my problem with these kind of things. Voila. Next up, we have a look at the tokens first, and then we'll have a look at the commander in general, and then the deck proper. So, commander, Chunky. Here we go. Then we have Ragavan, the monkey, and Salamander Warrior. Okay, that's interesting. Quite a few of them. And then we have a map and Kopi, the Monarch, and City's Blessings. So it's just like the Velociraptor one. And then Pirate, and then Skeleton Pirates, of course. You gotta have skeletons. Shapeshifters, and treasure tokens. Very nice. I mean, you gotta have treasure. You're pirates. Come on, eh? You wouldn't be really good pirates if you didn't have treasure. And next up, we have the commander and the general, and a little bit of a reminder of how to play the game. So, Admiral Brass Unsinkable is a 3/3 human pirate that costs Grixis and 2 generics. So just like the Velociraptor, that's the kind of level that we're looking at here. It's a legendary creature, of course. And when it enters the battlefield, you mill 4 cards. And at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may return target pirate creature card from graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, which means that it does not die. When it dies, it exiles the card. It has base power and toughness plus 4/4 actually, and it gains haste until the end of turn. So that's not bad. You may return target pirate creature card at the beginning of combat. So it's only 1 per turn. It gets buffed up to 4/4 base, and it gains haste. Don't think it can it? Yeah, it's a beginning of combat, so it has haste, so it can attack that same turn. That's not bad. 1 pirate per turn gets returned. Not bad at all. It is a mill deck, must have a reanimate theme if this is the way that the Admiral is going. And then next up we have Don Andres, the Renegade. It's a 4/3 vampire pirate that costs 4 with Grixis in the cost. Each creature you control but don't own gets +2/+2, has menace and death touch, and is a pirate in addition to its other types. Okay, so you can gain control of others and it gains all of this goodies. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell you don't own, create 2 tapped treasure tokens. Okay, so you play off the top of your opponent's decks, you gain control of the creatures, and you reanimate your own pirates. Interesting. This is not as synergistic with the other commander as much as the other commanders were with each other. So it's really interesting. We'll see how it goes because this is very detached. This is control other creatures that are not yours, or cast non-creature spells that are not yours, and this one is and then it becomes pirates, of course, but then they go back to their respective graveyards, so it's not like you can put them in your own graveyard. So let's see how it goes here. Next, we have the Indomitable. So this is a 6/6 vehicle that we've seen before. It crews for 3, it costs 4, double blue pip. It has trample. Whenever you control a creature you control, deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. So it's a good draw engine. And whenever a creature you control, so that's always good for all creatures. You swing with 3. You get 3, that's great. And you may cast the Indomitable from the graveyard as long as you control 3 or more tap pirates or vehicles. So that's very, very easy with Admiral Brass and the tribal theme of the deck. So I will put this here. Very good card. Next up, we have Stormfleet Negotiator. This is a 2/2 Siren Pirate that costs 3, has flying, and parlay. Whenever it attacks, each player reveals the top card of the library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you create a map token, then each player draws a card. Okay, so each player reveals the top card. I'm getting a theme here, but at least you get a map token for each non-land card revealed, and those allow you to explore and make bigger things. Okay, so far, okay, I see where you're going. Francisco Fall Marauder is a 0/1 bird pirate. Of course, you gotta have Paris. I mean, come on, and he looks so freaking cool. I wish I looked that cool, honestly. That costs only 2. It's a legendary creature, and it's black. Flying, Francisco can't block. Of course, it's tiny, but whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal damage to a player, it explores, and it partners if you have 2 commanders with partner. Very, very good. This, whenever 1 or more, it's unfortunate, of course, but otherwise it would be broken. Yeah. It can grow really, really big and has flying. It's not bad, and it's a pirate, so it can get buffed. The Green Captain's Locker, legendary artifact, costs 4, is black. Tap to surveil 1. That's good for the explore abilities and also for milling yourself. Then untap to until the end of turn, each creature card in graveyard gains escape 4. Exile 4 other cards from graveyard. Wow, you may cast a card with escape from your graveyard for its escape cost, independently of how expensive they are. So you can reanimate some really big stuff with this one. Wow, that's really, really good. That is really, really good. It all depends on what cards they're going to put in here, but yeah, I mean, that could be a staple in reanimate decks because, yeah, each turn, each creature card in your graveyard gains escape. That's really strong. Skeleton Crew is a 3/3 skeleton pirate that costs 4. Each other creature you control, that's a skeleton or a pirate, gets +1/+1. Yay, Anthem. And whenever 1 or more other creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black skeleton creature token. So again, Admiral Brass and other hopeful ways, because so far we only have that. And then For 6, you return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So it's okay. The 6th part is a bit expensive. Maybe later down the game, if it dies, you don't have to waste one of those reanimate spells on it, and you can just bring it back by paying 6 if you are just sitting around with 6 mana. Anyway, Broadside Bombardiers is a 2/2 Goblin Pirate that costs 3. Has red in its cost, mana's haste, and it has boast. Sacrifice another creature or artifact, it deals damage equal to 2 plus the sacrifice permanent's mana value to any target. So this burns and it does sacking and artifacts, so it's not bad. It's a sack outlet that deals damage. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. Gencutter Buccaneer is a 1/3 Orc Pirate Artificer, costs 4. When it or another pirate enters the battlefield in control, you get to create a tap treasure token. We love this one very much. And then treasure tokens you control also are equipments that give +2/+0 and equip for 1 to pirates and 3 to other creatures. So great, it's nice. Treasure tokens, you can always sack them to other stuff or just to cast anything bigger. And if you need some buffs, you can always just buff. Anyway, if the creature is about to die and if you don't want, you can just sack the treasure token. Arm mounted anchor. Okay, that's an interesting tool. That's gonna rip your arm really easily. Anyway, I think this is more for repelling yourself than actually tying down a boat or a ship. 3 generic artifact equipment. An equipped creature gets +2/+2, has menace. That's great. It equips only for 2, but this ability costs 2 less to activate if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. And whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a pirate card. Okay, so re-enabling that. Again, you need a bit more than just that to reanimate. We need a bit more reanimate. Come on, I believe in you. You got this. Amphin Mutineer is a 3/3 Salamander Pirate, costs 4. When it enters the battlefield, is that up to 1 target non-salamander creature. Okay, that's creature's control creates a 4/3 salamander creature, and you can encore it. Spot removals, there are better in these colors. I'd rather not have this one. Biden of Thessa, okay. That's interesting. Cost 4. It's a very renowned artifact. Cost 4. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. And then for 2 and tap, creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. There are better ways to draw cards in your blues and even in other colors, in black as well. But this is a way that it synergizes with creatures, and also this part, the second part, I never really liked it because it forces to attack this turn if able, and they can just choose to go straight at you. So yeah, I don't know. It's an okay card. It can be good, but there are better draw engines in blue for sure. Corsair Captain has a 2/2 human pirate that costs 3. When it enters the battlefield, you create a treasure token and other pirates you control. Get +1/+1. Well, another treasure token. And this buffs. It's an anthem, so I like this one. Evacuation. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. Cost 5. It's an instant. Meh. I like that it's themed with a captain, so that's really cool. But the problem is you spend so much to bring him back from, you know, wherever you brought them into the play, that to be able to return all creatures, it's a bit annoying. It's okay maybe to have one of these kind of effects, but I'd rather just, I don't know, Cyclonic Rift, you know. Time Stream Navigator is a 1/1 human pirate wizard that costs 2. You can ascend, so the Blessing of the Citadel, and they'll for 4 you tap it and put it at the bottom of its owner's library. You take an extra turn after this one. Activate only if you have the city's blessing. You don't have a lot of creatures tokens created here, so I don't know how easy it is to get the blessing. But if you manage to pull this off, yay, an extra turn. There are ways to get it in blue, and it's a pirate wizard, so it's okay. Depends on the overall synergy of the deck. So far, it seems a little bit more scatterbrained. Warcap Marauder has a 2/1 human pirate that costs 2, has flying whenever it attacks. Target creature defending player control loses all abilities and has base power toughness of 0/1 until the end of turn. Very good. If you have a flyer that you don't want it to be blocked by on the defenders, that's good. And if not, you just transform something that's really nasty. Not bad at all. And again, if you return this with Admiral's Brass, then it becomes a 4/4 base power. That's really strong. Okay, next up we have Black Market Connections. Okay, yes, please. All right, it's getting a reprint. It's one of the better enchantments in the past few years that's been printed. It costs 3, and it's a black enchantment. And At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose one or more. You either create a treasure token, you lose a life, you lose 2 life, you draw a card, or you lose 3 life and you create a shapeshifter 3/2. Very, 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 very strong. Very good. Blood Money, sorcery. Okay, costs 7 with 2 black pips. Destroy all creatures for each non-token creature destroyed this way. You get to create a tapped treasure token. Again, yes, if you have a lot of reanimate ways, then that's great. If you don't, then yeah, you're just slowly bringing them back. It can be annoying, and so far I've not seen any like, oh my god, this card enters play and therefore you're gonna be assured to win. There's no win con so far. It's just a lot of little wee things that do a lot of things that hopefully get you to do something. So there's nothing, really good for it. But let's see how the deck goes. Dire Fleet Ravager is a 4/4 or Pirate Wizard that costs 5 with 2 blacks pips. Menace Death Touch, so that's always good. And when it enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of their life. Round it up. Okay. It's each player. It's annoying. You're not playing aristocrats, so I don't know how easy it is to gain that life back, and it could just be shooting you in the foot. You have to be the one putting the pressure to be able to play this. Otherwise, I would just remove it. Fathom Fleet Captain is a 2/1 human pirate. Costs 2, has menace. It's black. And whenever it attacks, if you control another non-token pirate, which is fairly simple, you may pay 2. And if you do, you create a 2/2 black pirate creature token with menace. So more creature generators. A little bit scattered at the moment in what it wants to do. We have some creature generators, but okay, let's see how it goes. Lethal Scheme. It's an instant. It has Convoke. It costs 4. And of course, for the generic 2, you can tap 2 creatures to pay it cheaper. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Each creature that convoke Lethal Scheme connives, meaning that you draw a card, then discard a card. And if you discard an online card, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. I like this one. It's a great removal. I really like it. And I think it goes well with the synergy of the deck. Angress Marauder is a 4/4 that costs 7. Human Pirate, it's red. And if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent player, deals that with that damage to that permanent player instead. Fairly expensive for what it's trying to do, but there are ways to get treasures. And then we get Blasphemous Act, very expensive, but it can be turned down by 1 generic for each creature on the battlefield, and it deals 13 damage to each creature. Again, no protection on your side, but it's a board wipe, and it's a classic board wipe for red. Captain Lannery Storm, it's a 2/2 human pirate that costs 3, has haste, and when it attacks, you create a treasure token. That's very good to ram me to other things. And whenever you sacrifice the treasure token, it gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. So that's actually pretty good. I think this is a really good token generator for sure. You have to keep it alive though, and it's small, it's tiny, it will die really quickly. Then we get the Captivating Crew, is a human pirate 4/3 that costs 4, and for 4, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until the end of turn. Untap the creature, gains haste until the end of turn. Activate on the sorcery. This is Don Andres, so that's the first time that we actually truly see that hit their ability come into play. Chaos Warp. Yes, it's a classic. I don't quite like it. It's very random on what you get. Coercive Recruiter is a 4/3 orc pirate that costs 6. When it or another pirate enters the battlefield and control, gain control of a target creature until the end of turn. Untap that creature until the end of turn, gains haste. It becomes a pirate in addition to its other types. So again, it's okay. This has 2 creatures so far that do that. Then Dire Fleet Daredevil is a 2/1 that costs 2. First striker when it enters the battlefield, you exile target instant sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn. The mana of any type can be used to cast a spell. If that spell would be put in the graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So again, Don Andres. So now it's 3 cards that help Don Andres. Then again, it's a pirate, so it can be brought back and synergizes with Admiral Brass. Then we have Kari Zev, Skyship Raider, is a 1/3 human pirate that creates the Ragavan. It costs 2, first strike menace, and whenever it attacks, you create Ragavan, a legendary monkey creature token, and when it enters the battlefield, tapped and attacking as that token at the end of combat. Not bad. I like it. So it's good to have. And we have Port Razor, 4/4 orc pirate that costs 5. It deals combat damage to a player. Untap each creature you control, and you get a second combat phase. And It can't attack a player if it already attacked this turn, of course, because otherwise you attack infinitely. So yeah, you get double the attack phases. That's pretty freaking cool, and it doesn't exert itself. So yay, I like that. Shared Animosity is an enchantment. It costs 3. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/+0 until the end of turn for each other attacking creature that shares a creature type with it. Very, very, very good. I wish it was +1/+1, but still, it's a very good Anthem type effect. Ooh, that's cool. That's Admiral Beckett Brass. So Admiral Beckett Brass, I think is the same one. 3/3 human pirate that costs Grixis and 1 generic. Other pirates you control get +1/+1. And at the beginning of your end step, gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by a player who was dealt combat damage by 3 or more pirates this turn. And now it synergizes with Don Andres and Admiral Blast. Very nice. I like this one. Ooh, Hostage Taker. That's a great one. So it's a 2/3 human pirate. It costs 4. When it enters battlefield, exile target creature or artifact until it leaves the battlefield. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and the mana of any type can be used to cast a spell. So again, Don Andres and Admiral Brass. So finally we're getting the synergies. The synergy is steal your opponent's creatures or have the little pirates do little things until they annoy your opponents as much as possible. I think the little pirates are the scattered ones are a bit the weaker point in here so far, but now I'm starting to see that it's picking up towards the right direction. Okay, next up we have King Narfi's Betrayal. It's a saga. It costs 3 with Demir. Each player mills 4 cards, then you may exile a creature or planeswalker card from each graveyard. That's the first step. And then the second and third step, until the end of turn, you may cast spells from among cards exiled with this, and you may spend mana. Okay, so again, Don Andres, very good one, very synergistic, very fun. I think this is a very fun deck for sure. I will say that. Ooh, Prismatic Command, that's a great one to have. Instant, cost 3 with Is It Inside, and choose 2. It either deals 2 damage to any target, or target player draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards, or target player creates a treasure token or destroy target artifact. This is the better of the commands. I really love this, and I like that it's here, and it gives you so many tools that you're actually going to be able to use here. That's very good. Then we have Zara, Renegade Recruiter, Zara in a different form. It's a 4/3 human pirate that costs 5, has flying, and when it attacks, look at the defending player's hand. You may put a creature card from it on the battlefield on your control tapped, and attacking that player or planeswalker they control, return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, and also if you have a dino, yes please, thank you very much. Okay, now we start to see some of the Anthem artifacts. Icon of Ancestry gives all players +1/+1. Then for 3 and tap, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, reveal a creature card that was your chosen type from one, then put it into your hand. The rest you put them at the bottom of the library in random order. Okay, Vanquish's Banner, that's very, very, very good. Another great Anthem effect, gives +1/+1 to every pirate, and then whenever a pirate is cast, you draw a card. So another way to greatly affect the board. Now I'm liking the way it's going. I understand that maybe you don't have a lot of Anthem effects in pirates on the pirates themselves, but this is a good way to do it. Chalk Estuary, it's an okay land. Desolate Lighthouse, yeah, sure. If you wanna loot Exotic Orchard, yeah. Foreboding Ruins, it's okay. Frostborn Snarl, it's okay. Yeah, okay. Gyre Sanatorium is good to re-enable those graveyard effects for you, because again, you're trying to get as many cards into the graveyard as possible. Then Nefelia Drownyard, again, mill 3 card used for you. If you need enablers, there are better card enablers and reanimators, and if you're wanting to stay still pirates and have a lot of pirates tribal, then yeah, you need this, because you can't go too much in the reanimate side. Smoldering Marsh, of course. Sulfur Falls, love it. Sunken Hollow, of course, love it. And then, let's see. Azure Fleet Admiral is a 3/3 human pirate. It costs 4. When it enters battlefield, you become the monarch, and it can't be blocked by creatures that the monarch controls. Yeah, no, I don't like it. I don't like monarch effects, and it only affects one creature. So no, thank you very much. Enterprise Scale UAG, of course, is 2/2 Goblin Pirate, costs 2. And at the end of your end step, if you've descended, so if a permanent has been put from anywhere onto your graveyard, then you create a treasure token. Very good in this deck. Daring Saboteur is a 2/1 human pirate, costs 2 for 3. Can't be blocked this turn, and it deals combat damage to a player. You may draw a card, and if you do, discard a card. It's okay. I wish it had flying. There are better cards for this one, but if you don't have any other ones, it's okay to keep. Part of the deckend is a 2/2 Spirit Pirate that costs 2 and it's blue. And when it becomes a target of a spell, you sacrifice it. It cannot be blocked except by spirits. And for 4, another target creature you control can't be blocked this turn except by spirits. So very good. It can draw some removal spells. If it's annoying, you can buff it with other things. And here, for example, or with the Anthem effects. And yeah, it can don't underestimate the block by except for spirits. So it's not bad because it doesn't cost that much. This Melody, that's a good one. It allows you to draw for every type of pirate that you have under your control. So it's a sorcery and allows you to draw a lot. Again, if you're using these, be careful of the amount of cards you have in hand. You have to be mindful. Then we have Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro, which is a 2/3 Spirit Pirate that costs 3. A legendary creature, can't be blocked by creatures with toughness 3 or 4, 3 or greater. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose up to 1 target card in a graveyard that was discarded and put them from my library. That was discarded from my library this turn and put that into its owner's hand. Okay, so you can put your own back and you can partner it. And I don't know. There are better cards. Like, I'd rather have a flying than this ability myself. Now we have Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator, which is a 2/2 Siren Pirate, costs 3. And it's blue, has flying. When 1 or more pirates you control deal combat damage to your opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. Very good, much better than Ghost of Ramirez for sure. Merchant Riders, human pirate that costs 4 and it's blue. It's a 2/4, and whenever it or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, tap up to 1 target creature. That creature doesn't untap, so it's stunned during your controller's untapped step for as long as you control Merchant Rider, so it's stunned forever. When it or another pirate enters the battlefield in control, that is actually pretty good. So long as you keep this alive, you can keep those creatures tapped. So if you defend this can be really broken in this kind of deck. Very good. Siren Storm Tamer, really nice. It's a 1/1 Siren Pirate Wizard that costs 1 blue, has flying, and for 1 blue, sack it. You counter target spell ability that targets you or a creature you control. So a way to have some counters and still have a pirate. Very good. Ooh, another great one is the Spectral Sailor. It's a 1/1 Flasher Flying that costs only 1 and it allows you to draw a card. Windful, a decent one. It's a sorcery. Each player discards a card and then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards that were discarded this way. Very good sorcery in the right time. Feed the Swarm, that's a great destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. Only costs 2. You lose life equal to the permanent's mana value, but it can get you out of a pickle fairly quickly. Unfortunately, it's not an instant, so I'd rather remove it and replace it with a spell removal that's an instant. Pitiless Plunderer, I love this one. Whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. I like this one, but it's really good more in Aristocrats decks than this one, I would guess, because you don't have too many sack outlets, but you can kill a lot of your creatures off in one way or another, so why not? I like this one. Breaches, Brazen Plunderer is a 3/3 that costs 4 Goblin Pirate and has Menace. Whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal combat damage to your opponents, exile the top card of each of these opponents' libraries. You may play those cards this turn, and you may spend mana as Over's mana of any color to cast these spells. Grant for Don Andres, so that's good. Faithless Looting, of course, classic. It's always good to have, and it allows you to put more cards that you want to reanimate, so that's great. Rakdos Charm, choose 1. And it's an instant, and it's Rakdos. Of course, exile target player's graveyard. Don't do that to yourself, please. Destroy target artifact, and each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. There are better cards than this one. I'd rather replace it with something better. Ramirez de Pietro Pillager is a 4/3 human pirate that costs 4 Demir, and when it enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life, create 2 treasure tokens. It's not bad. And whenever one or more players who control deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. Keep this if you're keeping Don Andres, otherwise not. Arcane Signet, yep, very good. Commander Sphere, very good. The Signet, very good. Herald's Horn, another good anthem effect. Is a Signet, yes. Ragdoll Signet, yes, very good. This is what I would have loved to see in the other one, and the Talisman as well. Soul Ring and Wayfarer's Bauble, that's not bad. And then the Command Tower, Crumbling Necropolis, meh. Evolving Wilds, it's okay. Path of Mastery, meh. Port of Carefell, meh. Rogue's Passage, there are a couple of pirates that care about dealing damage to your opponent, so it might be something worth keeping. Secluded Courtyard, of course, for Tribal. Termorphic Expanse, meh. Thriving Bluff and Isle and more are useless. Unclaimed Territory, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 6 islands, 4 swamps, and 5 mountains. So let's see and recap this deck. It's definitely one of the more, don't want to call it scatterbrained. It's still fairly okay, but it's definitely one of the more harder ones to give a higher score to. And the pirates do a lot of different things. There are some synergies for sure. It's just that I was hoping to have many more reanimates in here. So I like very much the two combination. Now I understand there are quite a few reasons to do it, but there are quite a few more cards in red that enable Don Andres that you definitely want to have, including some pirates if I'm not mistaken. And that's for sure something that you want to do. You have Ragavan, for example, from Modern, but I don't expect you to put Ragavan in here anyway. And yeah, the reanimate part as well is missing, and also some more spell removal. So a little bit more scatterbrained in here, but the heart is in a good place. The enchantments, they're okay. They're not groundbreaking. The only one that is the Black Market Connection, which absolutely is a must in here and it's great. But there are other enchantments that you could definitely put to upgrade this. The Rakdos Charm is kind of useless. You need more spell removal and or maybe counters or maybe ways to definitely reanimate if possible. The same thing goes in the sorcery side. Some more removals, or even, you know what, even more so in this one, the Kindred Awakening, whatever it is, that allows you to return specific card creature type from the graveyard would be even better in this, because then you can reanimate a lot more because you mill yourself. So definitely in here. And then yeah, the artifacts are really good. You have almost all except for the Door of Destinies and the other standard thingy. They're all very good for tribals, so there I don't have any criticisms for that. So I think this one definitely is close to the lower end. I don't want to give it anything lower than a 7. I think 7 is where we can stay at. It does need a lot of upgrading. It's a very good base, and that's why I give it a 7. But it does need a bit narrowing down and more upgrading to do even more so the things that it wants. It's not so scatterbrained that I would give it a 6, for example, or 5.5 or anything like that, or even 6.5, because it has synergies. It does. It's just it's requiring for upgrades, and you have to invest a little bit to get those. But other than that, the value of the cards in here, I mean, just the fact that you had a Black Market Connection, which is basically a third or half of the price of this deck in and of itself before they started reprinting it. I don't know the price anymore. Yeah, this is a great deck. So definitely a 7.0, the weaker of the 4, but it looks like it's a fun little deck. If you're wanting to have some fun, this is the one that definitely can allow you to do a bit more of different things rather than just, you know, plain old spawn, you know, merfolk or spawn dinosaurs or spawn vampires. This is a bit more, yay, we can have a bit more fun and not just be in those 2 lanes for sure. This is the first expansion. I'm really happy to say the Precon decks are so much better. So definitely big thumbs up to the teams behind them. They are improving the standards much better. So yeah, that's it from us. I hope you've enjoyed this videos and our reviews of these commander decks. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it does help small channels like ours a lot. And we, from Scotty and I, we thank you very much, and we wish you a lovely day, a blessed day. Be good, be kind, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.